Hey guys, welcome to an update on the future heavy rain for central Queensland with the potential cyclone for northern parts of central Queensland. So, what it looks like anywhere north of Rockhampton will see heavy rainfall. For areas Rockhampton southwards, it really depends on the movement of the tropical cyclone. Anyway, let's go back to have a look what's happened recently. Over the last 3 days, we've seen some very heavy rainfalls, particularly up north of Yeppoon. We've seen the town of Byfield record over 300 millimetres of rainfall the last couple of days. Areas around Yeppoon, Pacific Heights recorded 220 mil to 9 am yesterday. That area has only recorded around 40 to 50 mil today. Pacific Heights has recorded 30, and Yeppoon's close to 50. And you would have seen some, between Gladstone and Bundaberg, we've seen some widespread coastal falls of 50 millimetres, 50 to 100 millimetres. But once you go inland, it tapers off very quickly, with areas just inland only recording about 10 to 20 mil. Up around the Mackay region, it's been fairly wet again. Mackay itself's had 33 millimetres to 9 am, but western Mackay is where all the weather's been happening, a lot of it. 50 to 100 falls all through this area. Some isolated falls of over 100 millimetres. Mount Duke's been the most impressive with 133. And then down at Camilla, there's been 113 to 9 am, and that's their 3-day falls are now totalling up to around over 400 millimetres. So very impressive totals there. Anyway, let's go and have a look what's going to happen. Okay, on to the low we go. So, as you can see here at 10 am tomorrow, we're seeing just a very weak system. We're getting some stronger wind well away from the system centre out to the east, but it's just a very elongated system. It's located around the Willis Island area at this point in time. Not producing too much weather. If you go and have a look at the rain, you can see there's a bit of rain around it, nothing too impressive. We're seeing some isolated showers hitting the coast, but not much in them. It's very dry air comes into the coastline around tomorrow. Dry air does not manage to penetrate the system though, so that is not a concern for the system whatsoever. Going back, have a looking at the winds for 10 PM Friday. Just going to 10 PM Friday now. As you can see, the system begins to strengthen a little bit. As gales start to get closer, and we're starting to see some stronger gales. We're seeing 25 to 30 knot winds now. Still a fair way away from the system, and only on the southern side. There's still not much on the northern side. If you're going to have a look at the northern side, sort of just thinking 10 to 15 knots and very little out there. So there's not a cyclone, but no chance to be a cyclone by tomorrow. By Saturday, that chance does increase. By 10 am Saturday, we're starting to see gales increase, particularly between Mackay and where the system is itself, as a ridge begins to be underneath. The system also stalls between Friday and Saturday, which is expected to stall. A surface trough moves away to the east. It tries to grab the system, but can't grab the system, and a ridge begins to form underneath. This ridge is what's going to direct the system back in a westerly direction towards the Queensland coast. Anyway, go forward in time to Saturday here at 10 PM. We're just starting to see some gales getting closer. We may be close to a cyclone. We'd be borderlining on a cyclone. The Bureau would definitely issuing cyclone track maps at this stage, but I don't quite know if it's not a cyclone, it's very close to being a cyclone. By 10 am Sunday, we are likely to be seeing a cyclone sitting probably due east of Cairns, and it's still remaining near stationary as the battle between the trough and the ridge continue. The ridge will win out in this sort of situation if it stalls. If it doesn't stall and it keeps moving southeast, or it moves a bit too far to the east, the trough has a higher chance of grabbing it. If the trough grabs it, it's good night. It's off to the abyss down here. Along the coast, we're starting to see some winds increase, particularly around the Hamilton and Hayman Islands. We're starting to see winds 20 to 25 knots sustained winds. Down towards Mackay, we're seeing sustained winds of 10 to 15 knots and very little around Rockhampton. Yeppoon's seeing very little as well. Go forward in the time frame to around 10 PM. We're starting to see, we've definitely got a tropical cyclone at this point in time, probably around a category 1. We're starting to see some sustained wind speeds around 35 to 40 knots, possibly 40 to 45 knots at times. Wind gusts are very strong in this one. Seeing wind gusts over 50 knots. We've definitely got a category 1 at this point in time, 50 to 55 to 60 knot winds, particularly around the northern edge of the system. That's the difference. Early on, it's the southern edge of the system that makes the penetration, and towards the latter end of the system, it will be the southern end. But just while the ridge is forming underneath, the western and northwestern sides of the system are the strongest, and the eastern sort of just lacks a bit. But that will change over time. Anyway, time to go forward to around 10 a.m. Monday. And by 10 a.m. Monday, we're looking at wind gusts still, by the way. We're seeing some wind gusts, some very strong wind gusts, 65 to 70 knot wind gusts, seeing 70 to 75 knot wind gusts on the southern side of the system. So we're borderlining on close to a Category 2 system. Probably still a Category 1, maybe even a... If we're not at a Category 2, we're very close to a Category 2. Situated, it has moved southwest, so it's located sort of east of Innisfail now. Down for Central Queensland, which is where we're very interested in see what's going on. Around the Bowen area, which is the borderline of where we stop, where our zone stops, we're starting to see some sustained winds around 25 knots. Those sustained winds increase around the Hamilton and Hayman Islands, sorry, from 25 to 30 knots. And around the Mackay region, we're still seeing 15 to 20 knot winds, sustained winds. Wind gusts around the Mackay area, however, are much stronger, 30 to 35 knot wind gusts around the Mackay region. So we're starting to see 50 to 60 km an hour wind gusts there. Around the Hamilton and Hayman Islands, those wind gusts increase significantly. We're starting to see wind gusts around these areas of 35 to 40 knots. We're starting to see wind gusts of 65 to 75 kilometers an hour. So it's not a very good time. Have a look at the waves. It's not a very good time to be out on the water. See 2.5 metre waves just offshore of this area between north of Hamilton and Hayman Island. It's not a very good time. Around the system itself, just for fun, have a look at this. All this. Wow, 7 metre swells. If you're out there, good luck. But you have time to go back to winds, not looking at waves, it doesn't really matter. By 10 p.m. Monday, the system moves southwest quickly and is nearing the coast around the Tully Mission Beach area, almost the exact location where Cyclone Yassi hit. At this stage, it's probably, zoom in and have a look at it. By this stage, it's probably a Category 2, maybe even a Category 3, but I don't think it quite makes Category 3. We're looking at sustained winds here. Sustained winds around 60 knots for the system. I don't quite think it will reach Category 3 with sustained winds of 60 knots. I think it need to be a little bit stronger. For wind gusts, however, we're starting to see some very impressive wind gusts. 85 to 90 knots around this, particularly in the southwestern quadrant of the system. Starting to see some impacts around Townsville, particularly. Look at this, 50 knot wind gusts, 50 to 55 knot wind gusts around Townsville. For areas where it matters for us, Bowen's looking at wind gusts around 40 to 50 knots. Around 35 knots around the Haymans and Hayman Islands, and in the Mackay region around 26 knots. Rain-wise, let's see what's going on here. Wow, have a look at the increase now. Zoom in a bit. We'll be looking at the area north of about Rockhampton, by the way. So for you folks down around Rockhampton, you're not looking at too much at this stage. However, if this system, instead of hitting up around this area around up here around Tully and Mission Beach, should it hit, say, I'll just draw it in for you. Should the system hit further down south, more around, change the colour, I don't want red. Draw it in white. Should the system hit around that area, we would see this area of convergence. Here you get the northeasterly winds coming in, then you got the easterly winds. They're sort of converging on in this area around this coastline, just in that little white zone there, that little bit of the coastline. Should the system hit there, that area would hit further south towards Rockhampton, just further down south that way. Anyway, let's have a look at what the system's going to do in its future. As you can see we won't go that far, go to 1 a.m. Tuesday, we see the system make landfall, or about to make landfall around go back to the rain clogs up a bit, around the Tully Mission Beach area, as expected. We're seeing some strong winds offshore. Look at this, 50 to 65 knots out there. Zoom out to see what the areas around Central Queensland are getting. Yeppoon area is not going to get much out of this. Hamilton, Hayman Islands, again, not much. And not much over the time. Have a look at the rain. We're seeing some extensive rain. We're not going to worry so much about the system itself now, the cyclone. We're going to worry more about the rain occurring. Bowen area gets some substantial falls here, 30 to 40 millimetres. Let's go on to have a look at 10 a.m. Tuesday. We'll just skip forward a bit because avoid all this. See, the system's still up here, it's hit the coast. Have a look at the winds just to see what's going on. You still got this beautiful northeasterly wind flow. Don't really have any much convergence anymore left. So the convergence sort of drops away by this stage. And I just go back to rain, have a look how much is going on over this area. It's not much rain. Mackay's getting about 10 to 20 mil around the Mackay region. A lot of rain around the system. The Rockhampton region starts to pick up the rain, interestingly, here around the Yeppoon, also around Rockhampton, around 20 mil in that period. Anyway, on from this is a lot more model disagreement. Will the system track southwest, or will the system track west? If it tracks southwest, see much more extensive rainfall. But if the system tracks west, we will not see that substantial rain. The system's expected to store somewhere over western Queensland. And that's by the Euro, by the way. Anyway, time to have a look at the rain accumulation. How much rain is the Euro predicting? This is the next 24-hour rainfalls around the region. As you can see, not too much going on around the Yeppoon area, 50 to 60 mil. The Camilla region gets battered again, over 100 mil again. Mackay, they're starting to look at 90. Have a look at the next 3-day accumulations and see what happens. Boom. Camilla again. They're not so much over the 2 or 3 day period, but seeing widespread falls of 100 to 150 millimeters across this area. The Mackay area looking around 110 to 130 millimeters. The next 6 days rainfall is when things really ramp up for this area. As you can see, the Mackay area, look at this, 200 to 250 millimeters around this area. Serena's getting hopped again. Over the next 6 days, I'm expecting anywhere from 200 to 250 millimeters. Darwin at this stage looks to miss out a little bit. They're still going to see some substantial rainfall around 100 to 150 millimeters. But inland, it just tapers off around the Burdick and Dam region. Not so much rain out here, 50 to 60 mil. For the Yeppoon region, we're starting to see some decent falls pop up. We're seeing 100 to 150 millimeters out here. Rockhampton itself looking around 70 to 80 mil. And the area around... The area around St. Lawrence is starting to look at, don't worry about that. The area around St. Lawrence is starting to look at some very heavy rainfall around this area, 200 millimeters around this area possible. More so north of St. Lawrence, around St. Lawrence, we're looking more around the 100 millimeter mark. Just for interest sake, have a look at the next 10-day rainfall. If this comes off, wow. We're seeing Rockhampton getting 200 to 250 millimeters, Yeppoon getting 400 millimeters. And then just up in this area, look at St. Lawrence, 800 millimeters plus, and then all that through Mackay. North of Mackay, we're seeing over a metre of rain, but do take this with a grain of salt. This is not the likely scenario. This is the one model run. Last night, the model runs had this rain. Yesterday morning, the model runs had the rain up here. Last night, they had the rain down here. Today, they have the rain up here. So it's very divergent on where it wants to have the rain. Around the Bowen area, they're going to get unlucky a bit, if you can say that. 200 to 250 millimeters, I'd still take that with a good any day of the week. Anyway, having a look at what the Bureau want to have happen in their water and the landfall. As you can see, we're looking at some very decent rainfall around the Central Coast and Whitsundays, Northern California districts today. 25 to 50 millimeters over widespread areas, 50 to 100 millimeters over coastal areas, particularly around the area between Mackay and St. Lawrence. Maybe brushing the coast around Yeppoon, however, that looks like it's just going to stay offshore. There is the rain, even though you're still going to see some widespread falls of 25 to 50 millimeters, with isolated falls over 50 millimeters. Tomorrow, the rain drops off as the system starts to form out here. You can see the heavy rain starting to be correlated with the system itself. We're starting to see, still seeing 20 to 50 millimeters across the area north of Mackay. We're seeing about 10 to 20 millimeters between, say, around Camilla and Mackay. Heavier rain by this stage up around the North Tropical Coast and north of Townsville region. By Saturday, we're seeing a big clearance, next to no rain on, except for right on the coastal fringe, mainly. Bowen area is looking at next to nothing. This all gets dried out by southerly winds coming through with the system just taking all the weather out here, but that will come back with the system. By Sunday, we're starting to see the interesting here. We've got two different sections where there's heavy rain. One section off here and one section out here. Which of those comes off, we do not know. I'll just draw it in for you. Okay, we've got two different sections where there could be some heavy rain. There could be some heavy rain up in this little section, just up in there. That is highly dependent on where the system goes, as is this one. The Euro model is predicting this area for the cyclone, or the heavy rain. The GFS is predicting this area. The GFS hits a very weak system around the Innisfail area, Cairns to Innisfail area. Barely even a category 1 on the GFS. More likely just a strong low with not as much rain anywhere else central Queensland. The Euro hits it around Tully as a significant cyclone, a category 3 system, maybe stronger, but more likely category 3 at this stage, with some very heavy rainfall south of the system. Have a look at where the rainfall is going to go. By Monday, we've got very good model agreement of where the system's going to be. It's going to produce a lot of heavy rain north of Townsville. We're starting to see the heavy rain coming onto the coast around the Mackay region. That is dependent once again on the scenarios. Should the GFS scenario happen, we'll see the heavier rain between Townsville and Bowen, or more likely around Townsville. We will still see some 25 to 50, maybe even 50 to 100 mils around this area, but not as substantial rainfall as if the European model prediction is correct. For interest's sake, let's have a look at what the GFS are predicting. We don't want to just believe the Euro, because should the Euro be right, we need to have a plan. As you can see, the GFS has a low a bit further up to the north here. You don't really want to look at that. It's not going to really pay too much of a bearing on the weather here. As you can see on the GFS, there is that convergence zone just out here where the northeasterly winds meet the eastlands, but that convergence is a long way offshore. And on the coast, we're seeing some 35 knot winds, but they're from the southeast. That's not very good. You might see some showers, but you're not going to see the substantial rain. By 10 AM Sunday, we're starting to see this convergence zone hit the coast. North of Mackay, between Mackay and Bowen, we're starting to see that convergence zone. Particularly around this Mackay to Proserpine area, this is where we could see some substantial rainfall. You have a look at the rainfall predictions in that time. Starting to see 3-hourly fall, 6-hourly falls at around 15 to 20 millimetres on the coast. Still seeing substantial falls, 15 to 25 offshore, and 25 to 35 up here. Let's go. We're going on to 4 PM Sunday. We're starting to see the winds ease around this area. We've still got this convergence zone that's hit the coast. It's now south of Mackay, but the winds are easing. You can see the low is just appearing on the far north. It's a very elongated system at this stage. It's not a tropical cyclone at all. It's just a low, and it's just going to hit the coast of the low. 4 to 10 PM, I should say, on Sunday. We're starting to see this convergence zone. It's still very, very weak. The European has the convergence a lot stronger because it has the low hitting a lot further south and it's being a lot stronger as the system itself. By 4 AM on Monday, we're starting to see the same convergence zone, just situated in the same area. Still seeing some showery weather, not substantial rain. The substantial rain's around Townsville northward. By 10 AM Monday, we're still seeing the substantial rain around the Townsville region in particular. By 4 PM, we're starting to see the substantial rain move inland to Townsville. We're still seeing some decent water around Townsville. With Sunday's area is going to get some showery weather, and the Mackay area is also just going to get some showery weather. And by 10 PM Monday, the system starts to have its influence weakened on the system. Total rainfalls in the next week, just going to Central Queensland for you. The GFS does hit a bullseye right on the edge of the coast around 400 plus millimetres. There's a doubt about that because it just seems a bit odd to be in a little section like that. I expect more widespread falls, over 250 millimetres, over 200 millimetres the next week, rather than just a single area where it has a 400 millimetres. So if you're anywhere in central Queensland, particularly along the coast, north of about, especially St Lawrence, you're going to see some very heavy rain in the next week. You're going to see widespread totals of over 200 millimetres in the next week, particularly around the Sunday to Tuesday area where you could see falls of 100 millimetres plus over 24-hour periods. Anyway, that's all for now. We'll keep an eye on the situation and keep you updated on future of where the system's going to go. At this stage, we say do not buy everything off the shelves. This is not going to destroy your house at the moment. It is not going to hit central Queensland as a tropical cyclone. It's not going to whack Mackay. It's not going to whack Rockhampton. It's not going to whack St Lawrence. It's not going to whack Bowen. Well, it could whack Bowen, but That's unlikely at this stage. It's more likely to hit between Townsville and Ingham. However, we have still got plenty of models to agree. The CMZ has a cyclone that could be off southeast Queensland, has one that could be off Cairns. The general CMC ensemble hits Townsville. The GFS ensemble disagrees with the GFS's operational run. The GFS ensemble sort of brings the system around the Townsville area, probably a Category 1/Category 2 system. But overall, so there is a cyclone hit, likely going to be a cyclone hit Queensland. There is going to be some heavy rain in central Queensland, but where that heavy rain falls, we do not know at this stage. So there's no need to buy everything off the shelves of Coles. There will be time to do that in the future, should the situation change and look more intense. Anyway, it's just be prepared, and we're in the peak time for cyclones, so you've always just got to be prepared. Plenty of heavy rain coming for the next week, and if you're in a low-lying area, you might be worthy of getting some sandbags just in case you do flood. Anyway, that's it for now. Have fun, stay safe, and try and stay dry. See ya.